disciplining with natural and logical consequences.
Democracy, where the rights of the individual are honored and respected, is becoming a universal expectation of people all across the world. Today's children expect their personhood to be honored and respected. They appear willing to take any amount of punishment in order to assert their rights. Therefore, the old authoritarian methods of punishment and reward, based on the idea of dominant adults and submissive children, have lost much of their effectiveness in impacting student behavior. The problems associated with punishing children are compounded in the classroom. Teachers, in many ways, have their hands tied in regards to methods they use to get students to behave. Teachers may mistakenly hope that punishment will bring results, but those results will be temporary because they are outwardly imposed by others rather than inwardly imposed by the student on himself. Likewise, the rewards system is not effective as a means of compelling appropriate student behavior. Rewarding good behavior with privileges and with things teaches kids to think only in terms of what's in it for me, and robs them of the satisfaction of becoming responsible for themselves. There is a difference between punishment and discipline. Punishment means that we make a child suffer in order to help them learn, whereas the word discipline means to teach. Teachers who make the decision to discipline rather than to punish their students are constantly asking themselves the question, what lesson do I want this student to learn? A very useful and democratic model for disciplining students is a system built upon natural and logical consequences. Natural and logical consequences can be wonderful teaching tools which encourage students to engage in responsible, appropriate behaviors. It's important to understand the difference between natural consequences and logical consequences. Natural consequences are produced by the natural flow of events with little or no interference from adults. For example, a natural consequence of a student's plagiarizing someone else's essay or not doing her homework is to receive a poor grade or a 0 on that assignment. Letting a young person take the natural consequence of her irresponsible behavior without any comment or action upon the part of the teacher can be a marvelous learning opportunity for the student. Logical consequences are consequences that are structured by adults as a logical response to a student's inappropriate behavior. An example of a logical consequence would be when a student spits on the classroom floor and is instructed by the teacher to clean up the mess. Establishing logical consequences gives teachers an opportunity to exercise real creativity in structuring learning opportunities for their students. It's important that a logical consequence be devised as an appropriate response to a particular misbehavior. And, if possible, it's a good thing to discuss the consequence with the students before the misbehavior ever takes place. To be effective, logical consequences should follow the 4 R's. Logical consequences are respectful of the student, are related to the student's mistake. If she makes a mess, she cleans it up. Are reasonable and age-appropriate, not so excessive that they are viewed as punishment rather than as a means of repairing the mistake. And are aimed at teaching the student to take responsibility for his mistake. A key to the successful application of a logical consequence is the tone of voice the teacher uses. While remaining firm, and without compromising, a teacher should enforce a logical consequence using a calm, unemotional voice. When a student breaks a rule, an unemotional reminder of the consequence upon the part of the teacher allows the child to learn from his mistake. On the other hand, if the teacher uses an angry voice, the student will view the consequence as being vengeful or as a form of disguised punishment. For example, instead of saying to Martin in an exasperated voice, "I told you that you couldn't go outside to recess until you finished your English assignment," a teacher using a pleasant voice could say instead, "I'm sorry that your assignment is not completed so that you can go out and play. I'm confident that you will do better tomorrow." This approach in reminding Martin of a logical consequence is neither punitive nor condescending. It instead offers encouragement and indicates confidence in Martin's ability to learn from his mistake and to handle similar situations more responsibly in the future. Students usually can see the justice of appropriate consequences and will accept them. A consistent application of natural and logical consequences, therefore, often results in a remarkable reduction of friction and an amazing increase in classroom harmony. It also helps students to see that there are consequences for inappropriate behavior, an important lesson for later life. Here are some things to remember in disciplining with natural and logical consequences. Both the punishment and the rewards models are ineffective ways of compelling responsible, appropriate behavior in students. The use of natural and logical consequences is a wonderful teaching tool. A natural consequence is produced by the natural flow of events with little or no interference from adults. Logical consequences are consequences which are structured by adults as a logical response to a student's inappropriate behavior. To be effective, logical consequences should follow the 4 R's. They should be respectful of the student, be related to the student's mistake, be reasonable and age-appropriate, and aim at teaching the student to take responsibility for her mistake. Logical consequences must be enforced utilizing an unemotional, calm voice. If the adult uses an angry voice, the student will view the consequence as being vengeful and as a form of punishment.